How much time do you actually spend trading? Might be a very weird question, especially because we're always so focused on, okay, where's our desired entry point? Where's our desired exit point? Is this a trade opportunity we want to take advantage of? Where do we plan to cut losses, right? We like to really obsess about risk to reward ratios, waiting for confirmation. Have you ever taken time to really ask yourself, well, how much time did I actually spend to make this amount of money? And the reason I want you to ask yourself this is, I don't know if you've picked up on the efficiency side of trading or if you're even an efficient trader at all. And that's kind of the whole point of this video, where I really hope that you can kind of like dive a little bit deeper and dissect the way that you trade and see if you could be a little bit more efficient when it comes down to actually opening and closing a trade. And the example that I want to give you is today, I made a little bit over $3,100. You guys have seen me have extremely green days where it's over $30,000. Very grateful for it. But then there's days like this where I make, $1,000, $2,000, maybe $3,000. Well, what happened, Ricky? Why did I suck so much today? That's not necessarily the case. I mean, if you really think about it, like yesterday, right? I shorted Tesla, but I shorted Tesla and it took me all day to really see my trade come into play. And I think this is going to be a really good example where all day, right, from the time the market opens at 6:30 in the morning all the way to 1 p.m. and it went even to extended hours. I made $10,000. Not a bad day. Very grateful for it. All that good stuff. Today, it was two trades where I entered my short on TQQQ when it broke below previous support. It ran down. It ran back up. It got rejected by the moving average. I added more to my short because it confirmed that this thing was getting rejected, right? Still a descending pattern, descending with the moving average, descending with the EMA, textbook setup, right? So it runs up, gets rejected. I get confirmation of a rejection. I let my LPP team know. I give this short position a little bit more size, and it sells off from overall highs of around $72.87 to lows of $71. And I walk away with $3,100. So it's really one trade, right? Because there was one entry or two entries, but one exit. But nonetheless, I added to it twice. My position size was around $150,000. That's relatively a lighter position from what I'm used to taking. When I was trading Tesla yesterday, I was actually shorting it with over $300,000. So not only did I use more capital yesterday, but I spent more time trading and I experienced a $10,000 return. And I don't know if these 2 days are going to be comparable because 10,000 is definitely, still a really good return. It's 3 times of what I made today. But the amount of time that I spent trading today was versus yesterday was not even comparable. It broke support and it did this right around 45 minutes after the market opened. It sold off. It went back to retest this resistance, which was about an hour and a half after the market opened. And then it fully sold off around 2 hours. 2 hours from start to finish, from when I took the trade to when I closed that trade out. 2 hours from entry to exit. And I made $3,000. 2 hours. Versus, and again, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong, right? If there's a day full of opportunity where you can, buy the lows, sell the highs, and short the highs and cover at the lows, all that good stuff, right? If it's a very active day and opportunity is presenting itself, then great. Make sure you take advantage of it. But I'm not trying to use those days as an example. How many times have you had a day where you take a trade, kind of like I did today, where it was one overall trade, you make your money, and then you bounce. And you're like, wow, man, that was a very efficient trade. The time that I spent in the market, my entry and my exit, and then you just kind of move on with the rest of your day. It's like it almost felt easy. It wasn't exhausting. You didn't go through a roller coaster of emotions. And most importantly, you didn't have and carry an open position when there was no progress being made. I want to show you something, right? I want to show you the day yesterday when Tesla, I opened up a short position during my live trading session, and it took all day for Tesla to peak to then get confirmation, which then I added more to my short and then made money as it sold off. Then I was able to walk away with $10,000 in the green. Then, not within 2 hours, all day. right? And the roller coaster of emotions of the trade not going according to plan. Do I have to manage risk? I have an open position, and any open position is open to risk. And it felt exhausting. Yet, again, my trade went according to plan because I positioned my trade well. I was light in the beginning and I added more to it when direction was favorable. But nonetheless, it does not compare to a day like this, where my entry, my exit, my time that I spend in the market. And I wanted to ask you, do you work on being more efficient as a trader? Because this is a really weird question. I don't think I've asked many traders, well, how much time do you spend actually in an open trade? Because I know when I find myself, and again, this is just like a really maybe bizarre video, but I think it's a conversation that for those that are really trying to take trading seriously, it's a conversation you have to have with yourself is how many times do you open a trade and there's no clear direction? It's just consolidating. You have your trade plan, so you're doing what you think you need to, but you open a position and it's kind of just consolidating and not really doing much. Or it's lingering and it's not progressing the way that you want it to, versus a day where there's an active trend, when it's actively uptrending, when it's actively selling off, and then you can actively go long or actively go short. Those days are the days where you really feel like a trader, right? Where your plan goes and works really well with the market in an efficient manner, not just, oh yes, finally, by the end of the day, the market's finally rising or finally selling off. And then now my trade is either going according to plan or now I have to cut losses. That's exhausting. And for those that have no trading experience, they're not going to understand this, right? But you and I firsthand, for those that are actively trading, know the exhaustion that you feel mentally when a trade is just lingering, when you have an open position, yet it's not doing anything. Or worse, when it's not going according to plan, but yet you just keep it open, right? Kind of like almost bag holding. And you go through this mental warfare where it truly makes the entire trading experience intolerable, is the best way that I can put it. Every day like that for a number of weeks, for a number of months, for a number of years will take a toll on you, right? That's not going to be an enjoyable experience. And I think that should be the sole reason on why you can really even just look at your past week of trades. And maybe you can identify one out of the past 5 days where you actually took an efficient trade. And not just view that as, hey, that was a good experience, but to kind of pinpoint and identify the qualities of what led to that successful and efficient trade. And I can reassure you it was most likely just one thing, and it's that direction was clear, that you waited for opportunity to present itself. It was an active trade, and it was actively progressing either on the upside or on the downside. And that is my question to you. How much time do you actually spend trading an active trade? Not a stock, not hoping for something to happen, but that you identify a trade setup and you enter only when it's an active trade, because any position that's open is open to risk. So I think this is going to be hopefully a good video for you to kind of take a step back, begin to journal your trades again, right? And begin to ask yourself that very simple question that maybe a lot of beginners won't even care to answer. And it's, are you an efficient trader? Or can you take steps to be more efficient? Can you wait for a little bit more confirmation? Can you wait for a little bit more of a reversal or of an active uptrend or downtrend for progress? Because that's the biggest thing. If there is no active progress, then all we're really doing is waiting and hoping for something to happen. And I know firsthand, even for myself, that is definitely something that I can get better at. So I really began to compare my exhaustion of what I felt yesterday to my ease that I felt today. Obviously, I made much more money yesterday than I did today, but that's besides the point. The money we make is almost a byproduct of the healthy habits that we implement on a daily basis as a trader. And my simple question is, are you implementing healthy habits every day that will promote long-term growth? And I think the time that you spend on efficient trades is only going to benefit you. You guys let me know down in the comment section down below. I would love to answer any questions you guys might have, especially if you're an absolute beginner. So feel free to share them down below. Also, I'd love to invite you for my live trading session. I trade live every Monday through Friday right at market open. So if you want to tune on in, the second link in the description down below will give you our biggest discount. It's 50% off. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access, and prices will be going up on September 1st. So if you sign up now, you'll make sure that you get grandfathered in and you don't have to worry about the price increases. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.